I have questions, I have questions, yes I do, yes I do. I can't keep 'em quiet, so let's go and try it. You can too, you can too. Hello again, we're here with another Discovery Storytime. This time we'll be talking about our friend, the flower. If you can see behind me here, we've got a wonderful flowering bush surrounded by buzzing, flying pollinators that are doing their little work of spreading those flowers around the neighborhood. It's a wonderful thing to observe in spring, and we're going to dive a little bit into some of the simple science of that. So join me for an experiment, a book, a demonstration, and a craft, and we'll get to it. See you in there. Welcome to my patio laboratory. I've got an experiment here for you today that's going to take a look at flowers and leaves and how they breathe. So what I've got is I have a lovely little pink flower found in my yard that we are going to test its respiration, that's its breathing, with a leaf. So what I've got here is some clear containers for water, 2 bottles, 1 cup, and we're going to place our test subjects in each of these. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this leaf into this clear bottle full of water. The water is lukewarm, about the room temperature or the ambient outside temperature. And we want to make sure that it's completely underwater and then we can see it really well. Can you see the leaf floating in there? And we want to do the same thing with our flowers. I've done this one already. You can see the flowers in the jar hanging in the water. Then I'm going to test both in our glass here, our clear glass that we can see from the top and the sides. And we're going to put in our flower. And let me grab a leaf here. Just a little leaf for this experiment to put them both in the same one. Push them down so that they're both wet and under with the water just a little bit. That'll help us with our experiment. What we're trying to measure is how much gas they're producing, because these plants breathe. And I'm trying to figure out, does the leaf breathe more or does the flower breathe more? So as the sun comes down, that triggers photosynthesis, which the plant uses to produce energy. And as it does that, it absorbs it's creating oxygen by absorbing carbon dioxide and breathing that out. And as it produces that oxygen, it's going to begin to form small little bubbles on the side of the leaf or the flower, and those are those gas bubbles, and they'll stick to the leaf and the flower for a while before they bubble up and are released. And what we can do is, if we let this sit for a couple hours, we can come back and see which one has produced more oxygen for us over that course of time. That'll let us know which one is more important to the plant for breathing. So let's leave it, and we'll come back and see how our experiment has gone over time.
Today's Discovery Storytime book is Flower Talk, How Plants Use Color to Communicate by Sara Levine and illustrated by Masha D'Yans. This one's brought to us by Millbrook Press, and while it's a little bit longer than some of the books I like to use, it addresses information that we don't always see everywhere. Let's take a look. Hey you, psst, down here. That's right, I'm a plant and I'm talking to you. But don't get too used to it. We don't make a habit of talking to humans. I want to clear up some of your crazy ideas about what the colors of our flowers mean. We sit here growing, minding our own business, while you guys go on about how red roses stand for love, and white ones are good for weddings, and all kinds of mushy, ridiculous stuff. What a load of fertilizer! We're not using flowers to send in information to you, so butt out, okay? We use our flowers to talk to animals. Why? We need some help down here. What would you do if your legs were stuck in the ground for your entire life? How would you eat? What would you drink? How would you get your pajamas on? We can take care of some things ourselves. We get our food with help from the sun, and when it rains, our roots slurp up water. But we need help making our seeds, our babies. What's more important than that? Without seeds, there'd be no more plants. We'd be finished. Kaput! To make a seed, we need pollen from a different plant of our same type. How do we get that? We can't just waltz over and take some. That's why we need animals. Here's what we do. We trick them into carrying it for us. We're nice about it, though. We pay them a little something for their efforts, Well, usually. How do we get them to help? We advertise. We hold up big signs. Our flowers are the signs. They say, "Come on over. We have a special treat for you." And believe me, they come. Who wouldn't? Especially if they're hungry. If we're in luck, they bring along some pollen from a flower they visited earlier. Do they know why they're doing this? Who knows? And who cares? It works and everyone's happy. So what's the deal with the colors? A flower's color invites specific animals to visit. You seem like a bright kid, so I'm going to let you in on the conversation. Then, maybe you could do me a favor and tell the other humans about it? Okay. Red flowers are usually talking to birds. The red flower's message is a top secret one for birds only. Most other pollinators are insects and they can't see the color red. A red flower says, "Hey hummingbird, over here, carry my pollen and I'll give you a sip of nectar." By the way, red flowers don't have much of an odor. Birds have a horrible sense of smell, so why bother making perfume for them? Blue and purple flowers talk to bees. Bees need flower pollen to feed their babies. They have special pockets on their legs to carry it home to their young. But some pollen always gets stuck in their bodies and passed to the next flowers they visit. Blue and purple flowers are saying, "Yo, bee, could you help me move some of this pollen and take some home for the kids?" See, we can be thoughtful too. Yellow flowers are also talking to bees. Bees are our top helpers. I heard that scientists just figured out that bees have 3 favorite colors: blue, purple, and yellow. Took you guys long enough. We've known this for ages. That's why so many of us make flowers in these colors. We like the reliable help. Here's what a yellow flower says. "Bees, bargain basement this way, free food." Some white flowers talk to moths and bats. Moths and bats fly mostly at night. When it's dark outside, what color shows up best? White, of course. White flowers are like giant signs that say, "Hey, come get your free nectar here." White flowers also put out perfume as an extra guide to help these animals find them. Frankly, I don't care for it myself, but I guess to a moth or a bat, it smells pretty good. Brown flowers often talk to flies. Here's what they're saying. "Get a whiff of our perfume. It's stinky, just the way you like it." This is true. Brown flowers reek like something dead and rotten, and flies need to lay their eggs on dead things so that their maggot babies will have something to eat when they hatch. I know, so gross. But a brown flower doesn't help a mama fly at all. She gets drawn in by the stench, but there's no meat there. Just a flower tricking a bug into doing it work for free. The flower gets pollen, but the fly gets nothing. The only thing rotten around here is the deal. Green flowers aren't talking to anyone. Are they just shy? No, they don't talk to animals because they don't need help. Their pollen is carried by the wind. Plants with green flowers are just green all over because they don't need animals to notice them. Would you bother getting dressed up if you didn't need to? I know I wouldn't. Do animals only go to flowers that are their favorite colors? No, but they usually do. It's been good chatting, but it's time for you to leave now. Go take a hike. I'm pretty busy, in case you hadn't noticed. I'm making a new flower. It's going to be yellow, with a nice, roomy platform. I'm just about done with it. But before you leave, do you want to guess who I'm getting ready to talk to next? And in a good nonfiction book like this, it always includes a little extra information in the end so you can do more of a deep dive into the topic. I really enjoyed learning about the different colors and the different animals that flowers attract to help pollinate them. So next time you're taking a walk and you see flowers of different colors, maybe you can try to guess which animals they're trying to get to visit them. The end.
Well, it's been a few hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at our results. So as the time has passed, the leaves and the flowers have gone through that photosynthesis process to produce oxygen. And while they do that, the gas is released inside the water there, and you can see it bubbling up. So let's take a look underneath. Hopefully you can see some of that bubbling up. Looks like we've got some both on the flowers and on the leaf. So if you look at that, you can see along the ridges of the flowers the bubbles have gathered. Then on the leaf, look at that, you can see along the back there's little beads of, there it is, beads of air that have gathered there. You can see it pretty well there on the bottom of the flower and on the leaves of the leaf. Hard to say which one has more, but we can definitely draw some conclusions from this. Both of them respirate, both the flower and the leaves are breathing and going through that process. So we can probably come to the conclusion that both are important for plant respiration. You can try this experiment again with other pieces of the plant, or come up with your own ways to measure the way that plants breathe. This demonstration will show you about water movement through a plant. If you take a look at our supplies here, we've got some dyed water. I've used paper towel that I've stuck onto just a craft stick sticking up there to create a vertical stem that's going to represent our flower. These paper towels are actually made from plant fibers, that's what paper is, and has many of the same properties as a plant stem that we're going to be imitating. You can see that I've got one paper towel on the bottom that's going from one bowl to the next, and then over here I've used some water-soluble markers to mark the bottom, and I have some clear water which we're going to pour into there to see a little bit different demonstrations. So when I add the green water and the clear water, let's take a look at what happens in those plant fibers. The water uses capillary action to travel up the plant stems as it sticks both to those stems and to itself, moving up the stem of the plant, also through the roots. And then you can see by the colors that it grabs minerals on its way to transport those to other places in the plant. In addition to capillary action, the plants also use transpiration, where the pressure caused from evaporating water at the top also helps pull the water up the stems and leaves of the plant. Our craft today is a paper unfolding flower that when you drop it into water, unfolds. If you want to make this craft yourself, you can go ahead and print out a template of the paper flowers that I've made for you. You're going to want to color it. Use marker, crayons, pencils, whatever you have, and see what different mediums, if they have any effect on your unfolding flower. Pair of scissors, and put that together. And you've got your flowers. Now you can begin by folding in all of the petals to form a little packet. And when we drop that in the water will begin to soak through the paper using the capillary action we talked about in our demonstration today. And as that fills in, the water will straighten out the paper and cause it to bloom, not unlike the way water is used to bloom a real flower. Set it in. We'll try another one, see if it works a little bit better. Try it at home and see if you can get it to work. Thank you for joining us for this week's Discovery Storytime from the Hillsborough Public Library. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something. And if you stay tuned, here's a nice little relaxing flower sideshow put together by the staff. See you next time!